The Great Gatsby is one of the most boring episodes of The Simpsons I've ever seen, and to make it worse, this is a double parter for no good reason. This is episode 12 and 13 of the 28th season, and it is honestly so boring, I don't even want to talk about it. But I have reviewed every episode to date, so it would be a little bit peculiar if I didn't talk about it at all. But there was nothing about this that I liked. No line that I thought was particularly funny or clever or well written. Absolutely nothing. I'll read the description from IMDb. I won't talk much around it because I really don't care. So the point of this review is to say that I care so little about this that I don't even want to talk about it. I don't think that's ever happened to me with a Simpsons episode. Usually, even if I don't like it, I don't mind talking about it, but this is the biggest load of garbage I've ever seen. Maybe if it wasn't a two-parter, I might have felt better about it, because there are rubbish episodes here and there. You watch it, you move on from it, but this took up nearly an hour of my time, and honestly, I kind of regret it, and I don't think I regret watching any Simpsons episode. The description from IMDb is as follows. Mr. Burns tries to relive his glory days and crosses paths with a mysterious music mogul. There are some apparent guest voices in this that mean nothing to me. Well, actually, Snoop Dogg, but also Common and Charles Barkley. I know the name Charles Barkley, I don't know the name Common. Maybe if I did know more about those people, I mean, I'm obviously aware of who Snoop Dogg is, but I'm not that bothered about any of the music in this. I don't like a lot of it. I don't like any of the characters in this. The whole Springfield Hamptons thing I thought was relatively interesting. If I had to find something about it that I thought was interesting, then the concept was interesting, but the execution just wasn't. It was boring, the characters were boring. I don't understand why it was a two-parter. I don't get it. I'm not a big fan of rap, so I'm aware that that part would never appeal to me, but I thought the narratives were all over the place, and I say narratives. We had the main narrative with Mr. Burns. Homer was involved in that. Marge had her own shop, which was fluff to pad things out and to fill the space, because they didn't really do anything interesting with that at all. And I thought it was absolutely terrible. I don't give star ratings, but I'd have to give it 0 out of 5 if I did. Maybe if I was into the actual music in it, I might give it, 1 out of 5 if that appealed to me, but it doesn't. But everything else just seemed really badly constructed, very boring characters. Even Mr. Burns was boring in this. And usually Mr. Burns is a really fascinating character. Even if I don't always like his behaviour, I find him interesting to analyse and to dig deeper into his character, his personality, how his past has shaped who he is today. None of that. Absolutely boring. When I got to the end of it, I did wonder if I was missing something, because if it was a two-parter, there must be something good about it. Well, the writers must have thought, hey, this is something that's worth stretching out for 2 episodes. And then I did some Googling, and there are a lot of very negative reviews. So it's not just me. Thankfully, I did wonder if A, because I don't like rap, I was missing that part of it, and B, I was missing something else. But it seems like that's thankfully for me, not the case, not so much thankfully for the episode. I don't say this very often. I probably don't even say this about 1 episode a season. But I will not be watching The Great Gatsby again. If I'm watching season 28 again, I will be skipping it. I will never ever watch it again. It is completely boring, badly written, really irritating or boring characters. It just feels like they were making fun of us as viewers, making this terrible episode last 2 episodes. And the only good thing is that on Disney Plus, the episodes are back to back in 1 episode, and you don't, unless you're paying full attention, Homer does say, I think it was Homer, says something at one point about a break in 2 episodes or something. That bit of writing was clever because it signalled the midway point. I can't remember exactly what Homer said. I think it was Homer. But the point I'm trying to make is that on Disney Plus, it's listed as 1 long episode. So I didn't get to the end of the first episode and have to force myself to click play next. Well, it automatically plays, but you know what I mean. Okay, so I found the one good thing about it. There is a line at the end of what I assume is the first episode that transitions nicely into saying, part 2 has now begun. Other than that, really, really terrible.